You know that story we're always told that to get rich, you need some brilliant, world-changing tech idea or a super flashy brand? But what if all of that is just wrong? What if the actual proven path to $1 million is, well, kind of boring? Let's actually look at the data.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. We see all the hype around trendy startups, but most of them fail. Meanwhile, these so-called boring businesses, we're talking laundromats, self-storage, vending machines, their success rates are up in the 90% range. It's crazy. They're just quietly printing money while everyone else is chasing the next big thing.
And that right there, that's the whole idea we're digging into. The fact that these businesses are predictable, that they fly under the radar, that's not a weakness. It's their superpower. It's literally the entire point.
So to make this real, let's talk about a guy named Harry. When we meet him, he's 32 years old, working as an operations coordinator at a logistics company. And honestly, his financial situation probably sounds pretty familiar to a lot of us. He was pulling in a totally normal salary, right? After taxes, he was taking home just over $3,400 a month. Enough to get by, but definitely not enough to feel like you're actually getting ahead. And his savings account really tells that story. He had less than $1,000 to his name. No real financial cushion to speak of. His entire net worth was basically a paid-off hatchback. And look, it's not like he wasn't trying. Harry had chased all the cool, trendy side hustles. He tried a drop-shipping store that barely made $100. He had a pretty disastrous run with crypto. He even tried a clothing brand that just left him with a garage full of unsold hoodies. The grand total from all that effort? Zero. Zilch. No predictable income.
And then he has this total aha moment. He's on the bus, just scrolling on his phone, and he stumbles on a summary of that classic book, The Millionaire Next Door. And this one sentence just jumps off the page. Most actual millionaires don't do flashy stuff. They run dull, normal businesses, the kind of local services you and I use every day without even thinking about it.
Now, at first, the idea kind of felt insulting, right? A laundromat? Seriously? But he decided, you know what? I'm going to treat this like an experiment. He started poking around and found this old laundromat for sale from a guy who was retiring. This was it, his first real test of this whole boring philosophy. So the numbers weren't exactly going to set the world on fire. After he paid the loan, the rent, the utilities, his net cash flow that first month was just over $1,300. But here's the thing, and this is so crucial. That was $1,317 that just showed up in his bank account. He didn't have to clock in for it. It was real, it was predictable, and it was separate from his day job.
Okay, so one stream of income is great. But Harry realized that's just level one. The real magic happens when you start stacking these boring cash flows, one right on top of the other.
So he's at the laundromat one day, right? And he notices the little snack machine is always busy. Ding! Light bulb goes off. So he goes out, buys a few more vending machines, and sticks them in other busy places around town. The work itself? Oh my gosh, painfully boring. Just drive, refill the snacks, collect the cash. But after a year, that simple little route was adding another $2,400 a month to his income. And this is the moment. The tipping point. You add the laundromat cash flow and the vending route cash flow together, and suddenly Harry's boring side hustles are bringing in over $4,600 a month. That's more than his salary from his 9-to-5. He had officially replaced his day job with boring stuff. And it turns out Harry's experience wasn't some fluke. As he did more research, he saw the same 6 types of businesses popping up over and over again in these stories of self-made millionaires. You had laundromats, vending routes, self-storage places, car washes, recurring services like pest control, and of course, property management. So what's the deal here? What's the secret sauce? I mean, what does a laundromat have in common with a pest control company? Well, it turns out there's a really simple pattern, a kind of formula that connects every single one of them. See, Harry figured out that every successful boring business passes a simple 3-part test. He started using it like his own personal checklist to see if a new opportunity was worth pursuing or just a waste of time. And here it is. It's so simple. First, repeat payments. Do customers pay you over and over, ideally every single month, without you having to constantly chase them down? Second, low drama. Is the decision to buy from you small and easy for the customer? Think about it. Nobody agonizes over buying a soda or washing their car. And third, and this one's huge, own the asset. Over time, do you actually end up owning the thing that generates the money? Whether it's the machines, the building, or the land it sits on?
So what happens when you take that simple formula and you don't just use it for a few months, but you apply it consistently for years? Well, let's take a look at the long-term result.
So remember, Harry started out at 32 with about $5,000 to his name. By year 3, his income from the boring businesses was more than his salary. And by year 6, after just steadily acquiring more boring assets, like a piece of a self-storage facility, his net worth crossed the $1 million mark. There was no lottery ticket moment. It was just the slow, steady, powerful magic of compounding.
And here's the cool part, where that $1 million actually came from. It wasn't some number in a crypto wallet or abstract stock options. It was real, tangible stuff. Equity in his laundromat, his share of that storage facility, the actual sale value of his vending route, plus some other simple investments. You could literally go and touch these assets.
So, what's the big takeaway for you in all this? The point isn't that you have to run out and buy a laundromat tomorrow. No, the real lesson is to copy the principles and the filters that Harry used.
And you can start exploring this whole idea with really small, boring steps. Seriously, just spend an afternoon online searching for local businesses for sale in your area. Run what you find through that 3-filter test. Or just drive around your own town and pay attention. Which service businesses look a little tired or neglected? And please, don't dismiss something just because it only makes a few $100s a month. Remember, the whole game is about stacking those tiny streams.
And that really brings us to the final question. The people who get wealthy this way, they're not chasing hype. They're not trying to be the next Elon Musk. They are just quietly solving the dull, normal, everyday problems that are all around us. So what about your city, your neighborhood? What boring, essential need is just sitting there, waiting for someone to meet it?